On October 10th, 2007, after 9 years in development, Team Fortress 2 finally drops. One of the most popular multiplayer games released by Valve Software, a company that makes games that are considered to be legendary in the gaming industry. That includes Half-Life, Portal, Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, and Left 4 Dead series. Oh, and also whatever the hell this is. TF2 was praised upon release, with people praising the well-designed maps, at least some of them, as well as the game modes, the wonderfully made music, and the art style replicating the 60s aesthetic from old spy movies that made the game stand out from any Call of Duty games that were coming out at the time. Visually at least, I don't want any Call of Duty fan flaming me for that. Eventually later on, the game became free to play and spawned a ton of updates for new game modes and hats. Lots and lots of hats.
The banana!
The game has left a cultural impact on the internet, and it's because of something that made the game a lot more unique compared to any other multiplayer games: the classes. The game itself has 9 classes, with them being divided into 3 categories. Offense, which has Pyro, Scout, and Soldier. Defense, which has Heavy, Demo, and Engineer. And Support, which has Spy, Medic, and Sniper. All of the classes are very important to the game's identity, and there are examples of why they are so iconic not only to this game, but to the gaming industry as a whole. Firstly, you have the models. They were made deliberately to be recognizable by Valve. Especially when even putting them into a silhouette, you will be able to recognize who they are. A definite contrast to how the classes looked in Team Fortress Classic.
What the fuck?
Secondly, you have the voice lines. Each class has its own unique voice during gameplay, with all of the voice actors doing the best they could to bring the characters more personality.
It's over 9,000!
My favorite examples are Robin Atkin-Doan's hilarious performance as the medic.
Whoops! That was not medicine.
John Patrick Lowry as the sniper.
Apples.
G'day!
He also sounds kinda creepy when he's calm.
You shouldn't even gotten out of bed. I'm not done yet, mate. Not by a long shot.
And of course, the late Rick May as the soldier. He is like my favorite, and no one can top his performance as the soldier.
You're like the Cyclops of Greek myth, except you are Scottish, and I hate you!
Just a reminder, there are people out there who want AI voices to replace actual voice actors. Fucking dumbasses. Finally, and this one genuinely made the classes a household name for internet culture: the Meet the Team videos. From January 17th, 2009 to June 27, 2012, Valve made a series of short videos about TF2 classes. They were made as a marketing tactic, with the writers and animators making them as interview-ish videos of the characters, and also a sandwich. Not only this was a successful marketing, but it was also amazing. They show the characters' personality perfectly, as well as they are so well written. Everyone on the internet has quoted so many lines from these shorts.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
It could be in this very room. It could be you. It could be me. It could even be...
Boom. Headshot.
That's how I lost my medical license.
And it doesn't help the fact that they're just funny.
Yo, a little help here?
I got it. Stand back, son. One.
Perfect. Kill me later.
Any second now. See? Red! No, wait. That's blood.
Do you have any idea who I am?
Valve even continued to make a few animations around TF2, with even a short film, which the story is about the team having
3 days to live.
while Scout is getting dating advice from his father, I mean the spy, and it received well, if not better than the Meet the Team videos. And now I keep questioning why we never got a TF2 show and instead we get Velma.
You know what 420 is, right?
Yeah. It's code for adults who still watch cartoons.
All of the animators have accomplished all of these TF2 animations by using a little animation software called short for SFM. Val used this tool to make not only animations for TF2, but also for their other games. On June 27, 2012, after the release of the Meet the Pyro video, Val released a public beta for SFM as a way to let their animators make their own animations. It's still a beta to this very day. Yeah, Val barely did much to SFM, and it kinda explains why the software is a fucking nightmare to anyone who uses it. Now, of course, animation itself is hard and all, but a lot of SFM animators were going through a ton of bullshit like crashes, missing textures, and I have heard horror stories about how there's just random shit that no one can explain how it even happened and how it can even be fixed. I tried SFM once out of curiosity, and I couldn't even move the fucking camera. Maybe I was doing something wrong, but I don't know. I guess Gmod isn't so bad after all.
Shit!
But despite that, people still managed to make SFM animations out of it. And it was very popular, to say the least. Everyone can make whatever they want with it, especially with the TF2 community. Do you want a high effort shitpost? Well, here you go. No! Get that thing away from here. Do you want an action-packed animation that follows one or more characters? Well, there's a shit ton of them out there. Do you want a TF2 horror movie that explores death and the consequences of cheating death itself, with characters going fully insane in a place that is basically hell to them with no escape? Well, here you go. Oh, and there's also
Pornography.
and hopefully that is the last time I'm gonna mention that. Needless to say, SFM animations were very popular, with some getting millions of views and a lot of them being very creative and spawned a few classic SFM animators like The Winglet, HobbyTube, Fortress Films, and so on. Valve even launched a competition for SFM animators called the Saxy Awards. It's just like the Oscars if it wasn't dog shit.
Guess the Academy members don't look up reviews.
With the winners winning a Saxy Award weapon for TF2. Really wish they continued this because Val randomly stopped doing the Saxy Awards in 2017 with no explanation, which they keep doing a lot. Lovely. They can, however, be commended for SFM. They let their fans be creative and I think that's awesome. As far as I'm aware, the community was very chill and friendly with not that much controversy going on. Until August 8th, 2014, when a certain indie horror game would be released.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Created by Scott Coffin, FNAF was a massive success across the web, especially at the height of the game's popularity, with the indie horror game spawning sequels that vary in quality, books, merch, a good amount of fan games, a movie that's honestly overhated, bite me, and of course,
Pornography.
it also spawned a toxic community, mostly kids, and they get heated when you have some disagreement towards someone's opinion of FNAF. Even to this very day. Great. Eventually, FNAF fans started to make SFM animations from the series, and they kept getting a lot more views than any regular SFM animation. They even sometimes reached to 200 million views. That is more numbers than what I have for my bank account. That would be fine and all, but there was a catch. The quality of some of these FNAF SFM videos were...
Are you fucking serious? I expected this to be an epic fight. But you fucking had to ruin this, you piece of shit.
Yeah, the SFM community were fucking furious. They made an argument about how these low quality animations overshadowed the ones that have high quality ones. Even Gmod had to deal with FNAF fans' shenanigans, with them posting so many FNAF saves that it takes up a lot of the Steam workshop. And soon, both sides were ready to fight on the battlefield, debating on the SFM situation and who is allowed to make one. It was the bloodiest battle the world had ever seen. And I didn't care that much back then. I get it, it's ridiculous that there's a FNAF SFM video with 200 million plus views, and it's basically a 2015 animation shitpost with FNAF characters. But back then I looked at the whole situation as a bunch of nerds fighting each other. Please, the only thing that I cared about was if Bonnie and Chica were gonna get married. It's not a secret that I grew up with FNAF fan animations, and this was no exception. I used to watch these for a while. I even got excited when one of the FNAF SFM series that I used to follow started uploading a new episode. I mean, what other media do I have to be excited about back in 2015? Jurassic World?
Stomping Koopas.
Since I have covered two infamous FNAF series, I figured I should tackle the FNAF SFM series. I can't cover all of them because I'm not that crazy. So I'm sorry to anyone who expected me to cover Old Memories, Slice of Life, The Dreams Within, Golden Lane FNAF series, Foxy's Family, Andrew John 100 series. Sorry man. FNAF's Got Talent, End of the Memeverse, and so on. I'm just gonna tackle the ones that I'm interested in, the good and the weird shit. So grab your popcorn, get yourself some soda, and wrap yourself with some blankets, cause this is gonna be a massive trip. Zero202 is a Belgian YouTuber who used to be a massive FNAF SFM YouTuber within the FNAF community, with her Dare/Ask series getting about 10 million plus views. The channel reached from 31 subscribers at the beginning of 2015 to 100k subscribers in July of the same year. I'm telling you, FNAF has taken the entirety of the internet for a while. This was the first SFM series that I had gotten into, and I was a huge fan of the channel. To me, she was on par with Dawko and Markiplier as the best FNAF YouTuber, and a lot of her fans look back fondly at her work. So I have decided to revisit the series for this video, just like with all of the series that I'm gonna cover today. And it's as wild as I remember it back then. In fact, I could go as far as to say that this is the weirdest FNAF series ever. And I feel like the best way to showcase this is by telling you the entire story. Trust me, it gets wild the more you watch. I'm obviously not gonna bring up every single detail, so I'm only gonna talk about the important stuff. So, it all started on January 19th, 2015. Zero tells her fans to comment on any dare and questions to tell the animatronics. She took inspirations from DeviantArt, where FNAF fans were doing the same thing as Zero but with images. I even remember seeing this type of content with Undertale, and they were very huge back in the day. The dare/ask comments would affect the story and how it would go further, and believe me, it definitely does. So let's start with Dare 1. Bonnie is there to kiss Chica. Yeah, you can tell that this was back in 2015. This is a continuation of a previous FNAF SFM short where Foxy and Bonnie fight over who gets to be with Chica.
You must feel the force.
Eventually it works out, but Freddy won't allow Foxy to see what's happening right now. Why does this imply that they started Dare 2. Chica is being dared to tell Bonnie she loves him in front of Foxy. First of all, we just started. Second of all, no one can refuse to do the dares, by the way. It's like they are being held at gunpoint. The dares so far were coming from someone named the Nerf Channel Review, by the way. She does it anyway, and you can tell that Foxy is heartbroken about this. Dare 3. This dare was made by Godzilla vs Kong. Yeah, they are fans of the series. Did you forget your Monsterverse lore? Golden Freddy is there to take over Freddy's job. With no hesitation, he fucking kills him and appears at the showtime with no one questioning it aside from Bonnie and Chica. Let's just hope there aren't any bullies in the rest of— Oh no! Dare 4. Bonnie is there to use the girls' bathroom instead of the men's bathroom. You heard that right. All of the animatronics from this series canonically have genitals. Where exactly? I don't know, and I do not think I want to know. Believe me when I say that this comes into a play later, I'm not kidding. He refuses to do it, but the male's bathroom is boarded up. Of course, he uses the girl's bathroom, which gets Chica furious about it. But plot twist, all of the animatronics use the girl's bathroom this whole time. Even Golden Freddy uses it, which by the way, he's kind of my favorite character in this series. He's just silly, that's all. Dare 5. A lot of people have dared Foxy to kiss Chica and confesses her love to her. Take a shot every time I mention a ship there, cause you will end up in the hospital by the end of this discussion. He, of course, does it, and it's as awkward as you would imagine. The continuation of Dare 2. Zero makes a video where they let her fans vote in the comment section as to who Chica should end up with even Freddy and Golden Freddy. And you wanna know how many comments were made on that video? 3.9k comments. FNAF ships were massive back then, especially with series like Sam and Tony's FNAF. The discussions were usually like, which side are you on? Team Bonnie x Chica or Team Foxy x Chica? I prefer the canon one. 10-year-old me, for some stupid reason, thought that Bonnie and Chica was canon to the FNAF games, only because of Zero's work. This is the same kid that laughed at dank memes. It's funny to think about this cause nowadays some FNAF fans think FNAF VHS videos are canon to the games as a way to build their arguments that FNAF was never made for kids. Anyway, Foxy wins with the most votes and Chica ends up with him instead, with her excuse being that he's just so lonely in his pirate cove. Bonnie is, understandably, not happy about this. And then I'm just gonna play it.
I open my eyes, I try to see, but I'm blinded by the white light. I can't remember how, I can't remember why I'm lying here tonight, and I can't stand the pain, and I can't make it go.
I want to quit.
No, I can't stand the pain. How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes I just wanna scream. How could this happen to me?
There is not a single word in the English language that can describe this scene. It's one of the moments of all time. Freddy is so upset about his heartbreaking singing that he gets the idea of getting a bag that contains a broken down toy chica. 3 weeks later, she is done and Freddy showcases her to the gang. Then Foxy immediately falls in love with Toy Chica because of her beautiful body. The fucker doesn't even break up with Chica and immediately goes for her. Is Foxy secretly Blasphemous HD? But hey, at least she got back with Bonnie. Yay! Dare 6. Freddy is there to make all of the toy animatronics, a dare that is being made by Foxy himself. Side note, now the animatronics have voices this time. And by voices, I mean they just have text-to-speech voices.
Why do you want that all of a sudden? Okay, fine.
They came from a program called Speakonoia, created by Microsoft. These were very popular back in the old days of YouTube, spawning multiple memes about it like,
Let me smash. Shut the fuck up, chicken.
I bring the program up because aside from like one series that I'm gonna talk about in this video later, all of the most popular FNAF SFM series use the same text-to-speech voices, so get used to them. Freddy asks Bonnie and Chica to help him pick up some bags outside of the pizzeria without telling them what's inside of them, and they put the bags in the back room. I'm sure that's nothing. It took him a couple of weeks, but he finally was able to finish all of the toy animatronics. Except for Mangle, cause fuck you. Something to bring up about them is that they don't remember much from the old restaurant they were in, including Toy Chica. Throughout the series, she tries to make Toy Bonnie remember anything about their past.
Hi everyone.
Dare 7. The puppet shows up in the series. He was there before in the Toy Chica and Foxy video where he's just floating in the background for some reason. The dare is that the puppet and Foxy do an arm wrestle and whoever loses does the hokey pokey dance in the girl's bathroom.
I rather want you to lose.
I won't lose, and stop laughing.
I'm not laughing, my face is just shaped that way.
The puppet ends up winning in the end, and they sure do celebrate the victory.
I won, I won, I won, I won, I won.
This is the best thing I have ever seen.
You put your right hand in, you put your right hand out, you put your right hand in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what.
Darn internet.
Is the internet access down?
Mangle is still locked up in the back room and the endo head starts to act transphobic?
I have a question for you. Are you a boy or a girl? What kind of question is that? I'm a boy, according to my voice. Are you sure? Yes, you look more like a girl than a boy, if you ask me. Really? Yes, because you're wearing eyelashes, pink lipstick and nail polish. Is that really true? Because I can't see myself. Of course, and I don't think any boy would wear that. Isn't it weird that a boy tries to look like a girl to this extent?
Well, you are in for a surprise.
Why, you're a male if I remember the manual correctly.
Hey. If she wants to be a female, then she'll become a female.
Dude, are you an ally or not? I don't want to talk about the Mangle gender debate, cause it's very divisive in the FNAF community. God, I'm not looking forward to this debate when FNAF 2 movie comes out. Dare 8. So many people have dared Foxy to kiss Toy Chica. Guys, at this point, just request some yaoi ships to spice things up. She kisses him back as a way to get Toy Bonnie's attention on her, but he isn't that bothered with it. Dare 9. The most viewed video on her channel. The dare this time is for Freddy to fix Mangle already. All of them are ready to do it, but there's one problem. The endo head needs to be removed.
What?
Freddy ends up doing it and he's genuinely upset about it. He sits on the floor like he's going through a war flashback. 3 days later, they finally finish the work and Mangle's design is just a reskin of Toy Chica, but with a big heart on her chest. Oh, and the endo is still alive in her mind. Kinda defeats that scene before, but whatever. Yo, look at her go! They're 10. Now this one is massive, nearly 30 minutes long in fact, and I was so excited when it was released. The dare this time is for Bonnie to marry Chica, which he wanted to do anyway, and it sounds like the least insane thing in this series. Foxy meets Mangle, who is called Toy Foxy by the way, and he immediately falls in love with her. He got over Toy Chica so quickly. This furry cannot commit to a serious relationship. Bonnie wants Foxy's money, get it? Cause he's a pirate? Just so he can buy a ring for Chica. They buy the ring off screen by the way, and I imagine it to be going like this.
Excuse me, but what's the most beautiful ring that you have? Plan B.
Bonnie takes Chica to a random forest and proceeds to sing a song to her. Oh my god, Chica, look out behind you! His song is very amateurish, which kinda makes sense, but like... His song takes up the entire fucking scene. It goes on for a while, and the animatronics don't even know when he's gonna stop. As you expect, he proposes to her, she says yes, they get wasted and then start to fuck each other. I'm serious by the way, and the animatronics somehow didn't hear the banging.
It just isn't fair. The chicken and the bam.
This attraction is great. So many guys I can.
The next day, Chica goes to the bathroom and falls down on the floor. Bonnie goes to check on her and sees that she laid an egg. Man, if I had a nickel every time Chica gets an egg, I would have 2 nickels, which wouldn't be too much, but it's weird that it happened twice. The egg is the most infamous thing about the series. Everyone was on the edge of their seats wondering how the baby would turn out, and you will see why. Gather around everyone, Chica and Bonnie are getting married in the dumbest clothes they could wear. And hey, everyone is happy right now. Foxy is down bad to Mangle, Bonnie and Chica are now parents, and nothing can ever go wrong. Springtrap shows up with a fucking gun! Oh hey, here's something that I didn't mention. Springtrap himself. He was built up a few days ago and he made a deal with Goldie to shoot Freddy and Foxy just so he can turn them into phantoms and be on his side. And by Springtrap I mean Afton because he took control of Spring Bonnie to do this evil stuff. If that sounds familiar to any of you, he's like Springtrap and Mangle Spring Bonnie, but a little lame to be honest. He just doesn't have that interesting of a depth compared to this Spring Bonnie. Oh, and then he proceeds to shoot the egg multiple times before Goldie knocks him out as he claims that he has gone too far. I can excuse shooting my friends, but I draw the line at shooting the egg.
I will come back, I always do.
You said the line, you said it!
And that is season 1. And season 2 gets weirder. There 1. Season 2. Both of them are worried about what will happen to the egg, and while the puppet conveniently has a gun to reverse the phantom process, he needs to wait until the egg is hatched, because shooting the baby while they are in their shell would basically die. Oh, and the puppet also mentions to Goldie the incident. Oh wow, I wonder what that could be. Puppet wants the toy animatronics to follow him to the old restaurant to get the weapon that he wants, while Toy Chica still tries to make Toy Bonnie remember his past. Again, mind you, this is the dare of the video. They also don't show the animatronics outside of the pizzeria, and honestly the way I imagined it is genuinely hilarious to me.
Are we nearly there?
We're almost there.
Since when are you able to float?
Quite a while ago, you could say I have supernatural powers. Plus, I don't really have teeth.
Toy Bonnie and Chica see Shadow Bonnie and follow him around the pizzeria. He shows up before in Dare 10 where he awkwardly dances with the puppet. Hi there, this is Future Joey here, and this is actually not his first appearance. It was in Dare 8 where he shows up at the beginning and disappears. This actually freaked me out when I rewatched it. He's just standing there, menacingly. He tries to make them remember their past as he shows them fishes of the pizzeria. It seems to affect Toy Bonnie as he's going through headaches from it. However, every time he gets close to Toy Chica, it goes away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Toy Bonnie,
Dare 2, Season 2. Hey, remember the title of the series? You know, Dare/Ask? I genuinely forgot that they can't answer questions until this video. Maybe if these people stop with the ship there. It's a short video of the characters answering questions, and two things I want to bring up are Goldie and the puppet refusing to talk about the incident. And the puppet has his game theory about Phantom Mangle being Mangle's soul getting corrupted after she was fixed. But like, there's no dead body inside of her, so where did the soul come from? And if you're somehow convinced that these robots are possessed by kids, stick around for a bit.
I didn't do anything.
Dare 3. Season 2. The puppet turns the Phantom animatronics back to normal with his gun, which gets Phantom Mangle shocked about it. Instead of like, teleport like all of the Phantom animatronics usually do, he just stands there. Thank God for Chica showing up, just so you can remember that you can teleport anyway.
Stupid dog!
The Past, Part 1. Oh man, get ready for this one. We travel back to, well, the past, where we see the origin of the animatronics. A guy named Jack, and yes, that's his name,
I'm Jack,
paid a lot of money for the animatronics to a fucking professor of all people, just for his restaurant. And it turns out what he made were animatronic babies. I've lost it now! Not only this is a way to explain why the animatronics have the ability to shit and everything, but it also gives the origin to Spring Bonnie and Goldie. This has officially gone too weird, and it's an obvious reason why this series isn't like the games. It's not like Zero wanted it to be anyway, cause I highly doubt they would have animatronic babies. No, get out of here, we don't talk about that. Side note, why the fuck are you giving them to a random guy? This is like an insane breakthrough you made. Are you stupid?
Yes!
Jack,
I'm Jack,
takes the 2 but forgets to take the 4 animatronics, so the professor keeps them.
welcome in my home, babies.
As you can expect, he raises them until they become old enough to work in the pizzeria. We even see how they grow up. Goldie using his power for the first time, then playing games outside as kids, though they act like puppies. It's 1983 and you can tell that with the big red number. Oh man, I cannot wait to see what happens.
How cool is that?
Dare 4, Season 2. By looking at this image, can you guess what the dare is?
What's up?
There is something I have to do. But please don't be mad about what's gonna
work. Toy Freddy.
Let's fucking go!
Toy Bonnie seems to be conflicted about how he feels about her and says he doesn't like her. This upsets her so much that she tries to get on with Freddy Fazbear to, I guess, spy Toy Bonnie? How is this serious as horny as Tony's FNAF? Shadow Bunny decides to finally talk to Toy Bonnie and explains that he has his memories, but for some reason he was separated from his body. Hey, you wanna guess what Bonnie is doing right now?
Look at that booty, show me the booty, give me the booty, I want the booty, back up the booty.
Hey Bonnie, I have a question.
Oh, what a booty, shaking that booty.
Bada bop, boom, pow.
Dude, she has no ass. Dare 5, Season 2. In the last Dare video, Zero set up a vote for what her audiences wanted next. The most votes got was the egg hatching in the next Dare video. Oh boy, does that mean we will finally see what they look like?
No! No!
Nope.
I will get to that in a second. This one gives the animatronics more to do with the dares and questions. Foxy gets a lot of dares here, like eating a chicken in front of Chica, asking Freddy where babies come from, and calling Mangle... oh my god. Calling Mangle... I can't say it. Calling Mangle Mommy.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Mommy, I'm talking to you.
There you go! Nice and clean!
What is that there, my guy? She doesn't look mother enough to be called that. There was even someone daring Springtrap to kill Goldie. It's like, who hurt you, Cindy? Freddy and Chica gets into a heated argument because Freddy wants to hide the egg from the kids. And for some reason, Chica doesn't want that. The second a child grabs that egg, they would break it.
little shit.
Weeks passed and the egg started to grow bigger. Freddy even started to teach them about parenting, just as close as the egg about to hatch. Okay then, but something has happened outside of the Pirate Cove, and it's revealed to be Shadow Freddy? They just show up out of nowhere. This is like their first appearance, and the first thing they do is kill the night guard and take his soul away. And they make sure they killed him off, cause the night guard kill is so bad that Zero had to blur it.
The scout is dead!
That's that mean.
So you are...
What?
This was a lot to take in. This story is confusing, insane, and weirdly sexual. And I kinda like it. Like for every lame ship there's like more ridiculous stuff happening after. And no wonder why younger me liked it so much. An average SFM animator would look at this and say, what the fuck did I just watch? But for me, I would look at this and say, what the fuck did I just watch? I wanna see more. The one thing I wanna complain about in this story is the pacing. You might have noticed that I talk about some Dare videos quickly, and that's because they are either too quick or too long, and I felt like it should have balanced the pace of these videos, to be honest. But what about the other aspects of the series itself? Well, the animation is pretty rough. Like, I can't think of an expert SFM animator looking at this and immediately recognizing that this was made by a beginner. Even Zero admits that she was new at making SFM animations, and it does get a little better, but not too crazy or anything. My favorite thing about her animations is the background. I can pause anytime and see some funny background stuff going on, and it's funny to see them.
Excuse me, Toy Chica, I have to use the bathroom.
Also, I can forgive the poor grammar as she translated her language into Google Translator, though she did get help from people for her translation like Mr. Brino, who also worked with Zero on the animation. And then you have the models. They are not only infamous, but they're also outdated.
Trash.
These were created by i6NIS and Splinks, and they were so popular back then with multiple FNAF fans using them for their animations at the time. Looking back, they look weird and kinda inaccurate to how they look in the first game, but they have a weird charm to them, and I think this is because I, and many people, grew up with it. Oh yeah, and let's not forget about this fucking render. I'm telling you, every fucking news article uses this, and sometimes uses FNAF Plus models. Internet journalism, everybody. I don't have much to say about the toy animatronics, though I remember someone making this awful model of Toy Bonnie and oh god, Springtrap.
What the fuck is that?
This model is ugly, and not for a good reason. Springtrap is like the best looking character in the games, and they made him look like a bootleg ripoff of himself. Get it off. And then we have the human models, which were heavily criticized by the SFM community, because the games have the characters at the time being either faceless or an 8-bit sprite. FNAF fans just use any models they encounter on Steam Workshop to represent the characters they want from the games. The problem comes with the fact that these models are hilarious pics for what they are supposed to be. First, you have the Scout from Team Fortress 2 being always represented as the Night Guard for FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. It could sometimes be different classes, but Scout is the most infamous one. Mike Schmidt from FNAF 1 is always depicted in SFM as either the Scout or this model that looks like Doc.
Playing around with two balls.
But we all know what he truly looks like. Then you have the fan music videos for It's Been So Long by the Living Tombstones. The mother from that song is always depicted as Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite, and the 5 missing kids could be anything really. You have the girl from Team Fortress 2 comics, which I didn't know about her origin and got jump scared when I was reading the comics for the first time. You also have Clementine from The Walking Dead. Bruh, if she encountered Afton, he would be dead. Oh, and Afton is usually depicted as G-Man from Half-Life, and it looks so funny, I cannot take it seriously, man. The last thing I want to mention about the Dare/Ask series is the music choices are very random. She did say that she uses random music that doesn't fit the scene, and I honestly agree. There's a lot of TF2 and Half-Life music being played around the series, and the scenes shown just don't fit with the music, and it's really funny when you notice it. And now, what about the rest of the story? Well, there's a problem. Zero was uploading a lot of SFM animations for the entire year of 2015. Looking back, it's impressive that she managed to release that many SFM animations for 1 year. The entirety of season 1 was made in 2015, but then she slowed down a bit in 2016 and started to upload much less after 2016. She did explain that due to her getting a job, it was hard for her to come back to make more animations for the series, hence why she barely uploads, and I can relate to her struggle. She was able to upload stuff with some animation memes and also launched a second channel, but on August 5th, 2018, she disappeared from YouTube. No one knew what happened to her, and people started to get worried about her, myself included. That is until July 22nd, 2021. Almost 5 years after the last Dare/Ask video, she released Dare 5 and explained in a community post that due to her being busy with work, she wasn't able to work much on the series. She also says that she looked back at her old work and said that they are cringe. Again, can relate to that. Zero also announced that she will be stopping making videos, but the series will be continued by another YouTuber named Mates Animation. They were also the reason why Shadow Freddy appeared in the series. And on September 25th, 2021, Zero uploaded her last video, Bonnie's Dream, where she revealed what the baby might have looked like after what Springtrap did to the egg. Yeah, I didn't know what you expected. Kind of a sad way to end our discussion on her series, but I generally understand her decision. Life can get to you very hard, and not every YouTuber can stay long on YouTube. Zero wanted to continue her work. She was just making them for fun, but was unable to go through with it. I highly doubt Zero will be watching this video, but if you are, hope you have a nice life out there, and your work did give me some inspirations for my videos, even if they are absolutely chaotic.
Dude, I wanna jerk off!
If you clicked on this video, chances are you are here for me to talk about a particular FNAF SFM show, and it just so happens to be the most requested series on my channel, and on the surface, it makes sense. It is the perfect topic for this channel, especially with its history with SFM as a whole. The show that we are going to talk about was created by Zashu37. Yes, this is how his name is supposed to be spelled out. A ton of people had no clue on how to pronounce it, so they would just go,
What a name. What a name. I'll definitely remember it.
37 is a Polish YouTuber who made his channel on March 15th, 2015. And this guy used to be the king of FNAF SFM. Remember when I mentioned Zero's insane views on her animations? Yeah, that pales in comparison to these. Just to let you know, some of the animations with the most amount of views were made by 37 when he was 18 to 19. What the hell am I doing wrong with my life? They came from a show called The Stories, and that's not to get confused with his cancelled FNAF show with the same name. That one was meant to be accurate to the FNAF lore, while this one that we are gonna talk about, not so much. But as you expected, his content got the SFM community on their radar. I have seen people accuse 37 of ruining SFM, a statement that doesn't make any sense because he didn't have some sort of evil plan to destroy SFM, but what can you do with some of these people? Now I want to be real with you. Ever since I started making this video, I was kinda terrified to talk about his work, and that is because the show is also infamous for another reason. The stories has 4 seasons in total. Season 1 through 3 don't have that many episodes. They are on par with the amount of Zero's work for each season. Season 4, on the other hand, Okay, there is an explanation for this, but I will have to talk about that when we get to season 4. And you wanna know what's funny? It's still going to this very day. Yes, this final season started back in 2017, and it's not showing a sign of stopping as I'm writing the script, meaning that this show has been going on for 10 years. Let me put you into that perspective. This show started before legal gay marriage was even a thing. FNAF 3 came out 17 days ago. It has a longer lifespan than most cancelled Netflix shows. And to be honest with you, I'm not even mad about this. It's clear that he's dedicated to his work a lot. I'm just astonished by this shit. I'm not gonna go that in depth with all of the episodes because I don't want this video to be longer than The Return of the King. I'm just gonna state my thoughts on each season and work our way with it. There is a lot to uncover about this though, because even when Zero's lore was a confusing yet ridiculous storyline, this one is on a whole other level. And you are going to sit through all of it. You have asked for this, and let's begin with... Season 1 is on par with Zero's work. What I mean by this is that some of the stuff that happens in this show was already covered back when we talked about the Dare/Ask series. Unfitting music with Half-Life and TF2 soundtrack? Check. The Night Guards are TF2 characters? Check. Animatronic ships? Take a wild guess. Instead of Bonnie x Chica, it's Bonnie x Toy Chica. Although classic Chica has a crush on Bonnie but he doesn't know. And Freddy also has a crush on classic Chica but she doesn't know. And the Night Guard has a crush on Freddy but he doesn't know. It's ironic that I'm even comparing these two because they used to be friends before. It just so happens that this season shares the same points that I have already made with Zero's work. The few differences are that the animatronics don't have any dialogue. Well, at least some of the episodes have subtitles and we get great lines like "Get out of here, you bald boy," and "Holy pizza shit!"
Oh no! How are you some kind of killing machine? Oi, wait, you are my bed. Then...
As for the story itself, there is not much to talk about due to the fact that the first half is just aimless, and the other half is what is the only important thing for this entire show. Springtrap is in here. Again. He's been hidden in the basement by Golden Freddy, but then they accidentally wake him up with his power. I will talk about Springtrap a lot when we get to season 3 and especially season 4. But there is something hysterical about the corpse that is inside of his suit. The most popular videos on 37's channel are the new Night Guard. After Golden Freddy causes the scout to break his arm, cause he just felt like it that day, he gets replaced by a new Night Guard that's being represented as the Soldier. The guard almost gets mangled to her death due to him pulling a shotgun at her and pulls the trigger, and that is the most in-character thing that he would do. After Foxy kills him for what he did, they hide the body by stuffing it inside Springtrap's suit. So yeah, the corpse inside of it isn't William Afton, it's a stupid American Night Guard. He doesn't take control of the suit because Spring Bonnie's spirit is in there, but I would pay to see what would happen if the Soldier takes control of the suit.
I will inform you when I finish my preparations.
Come here, cupcake!
Another interesting thing about this season was when I was researching the show, there was something that I never expected to come across. Statue 37 apparently has lost media. The first episode of season 1 isn't Bonnie's birthday. It's apparently a deleted episode called Bomb Surprise, which was re-uploaded by a random channel. It's nothing crazy, it's just a short episode where Foxy pranks Freddy by giving him a gift with a bomb inside of it. This bit even gets referenced in the last episode of season 2. However, because not that many people knew about this episode, a random channel by the name of Statue 37 Archive took this episode and edited to have it end with whatever the fuck this is. You might have seen this channel before, where they are apparently archiving lost episodes of 37's work, but instead he uses the already existing episodes, making them low quality and randomly having the animatronics all covered in blood and screaming agony. And sometimes it adds gay ships because it's so fucking funny. This whole channel is just a shitpost, and it got a lot of attention because of the edits that they have done. So if you got confused as to why half of the comment sections on the episodes are filled with "Where is Blood Bear?" that is why. Hey, Future Joey here. You know when you go to a YouTube channel on your TV, you can see the actual full banner on there? Well, guess what is the full banner of the archive channel? What the fuck? There were also other videos that were re-uploaded by different channels, and I legit didn't know about this until a Discord user named Saltwater Bumpkin notified me about this while I was making this video, so shout out to him. He also just so happens to be a massive Toy Bonnie fan, and to that I say, you will absolutely hate the archive channel. With all that being said, season 1 is the weakest season in the entire show. It just feels jarring compared to the other seasons due to how not much happens aside from the second half of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if 37 remade the entire season, especially with how much he has progressed with his work over time. Let's just get to the more interesting season.
Up in the background! You backstage game and throw!
Just like FNAF 2, the second season is a prequel to the first one, as we see what the toy and weather animatronics were doing in the previous pizzeria, having a conflict with one another. Why is that? Because Golden Freddy just felt like it that day. After Family Diner was shut down for reasons that I will get to much later, they opened a new restaurant with the classic animatronics. Goldie tries to break them down during their sleep mode, as he hopes the owners will throw them away and get Golden Freddy and Spring Bonnie back on stage. Not only do they throw away the animatronics into the posted service room, but they instead bring out the toy animatronics from the warehouse as a replacement, making Golden Freddy's plan not working in the slightest.
Nice going, idiot.
He proceeds to make another plan. He tries to command and take control of the weather animatronics to destroy all of the toy animatronics. But that plan fucking nosedives over a cliff, with the weather animatronics slowly befriending the toy animatronics over time. And even when they try attack, they are incompetent as hell. No shit, an animatronic with no hands and a rabbit with one arm wouldn't stand a chance with a bunch of functional robots that can even do this shit.
I love you.
Side note, I just love how many animators have no clue on what to do with Wooded Chica's arm. She always does that T-pose in the entire game, so just to see her arm in a different position just looks weird. Ooh, she's threatening her wire hand at me. Ooh, shiver me timbers. Freddy eventually finds out that Goldie was the one that got him into this mess. He knew about this due to a dream he had of Shadow Freddy telling him the truth. And oh boy, we will get to this jackass later, trust me. As they try to find Goldie, he decides to get Spring Bonnie to fall into a trap, so he can take his power to become even more powerful. And just as he's about to kill all of the weather animatronics, the toy animatronics make a security breach reference and protect the weathers from his attack. No wonder why he became a good guy at the end. As a threatening villain, he fails at it. You might as well hold the engineer at gunpoint to make him build the suits for you if you keep fucking up your plans. I say this season is better than the last one because it's more entertaining and more stuff happens here than the first half of season 1. There are some moments here that may or may not be intentionally funny, such as this scene with Toy Chica and Withered Bonnie.
I can't.
Why?
Look at me. You are beautiful. And me? I'm tired.
Also, I like the callback of Bonnie's birthday at the end of season 2. He didn't have to do that, but it's cute that he bothered to make a reference to it. Saying that though, I have issues with this season. The first one isn't 37's fault, it's more so YouTube's fault. If you are wondering why some of the episodes in seasons 1 and 2 are either unlisted or re-uploaded, it's because they contained music that later got a copyright claim. This is pretty understandable, especially with how brutal the copyright system used to be.
Fuck you.
Not like it's good nowadays, but still. This ended up with scenes that were either replaced with YouTube's shitty music library or just muted in general. This caused the last episode of season 2 to have some bizarre issues. There is an entire scene where it's synced to a song called Behind the Mask by Storm, but it was instead replaced with 3 royalty music and makes the scenes really awkward with the zoom in and out sections. And every time Goldie screams, you get to experience actual bleeding in your ear. The other issue I have isn't that big of a deal, but the sound effects for the animatronics are kinda loud to hear. He uses stock sound effects of robots and man vs machine sound effects to represent the movement of the animatronics, but sometimes it gets too loud for me. And then there's like a very specific sound that gets repeated all the time. This issue seems to not be present with the current episodes as it uses FNAF AR sound effects, so that just gives the game some worth of existing, I guess. Now, is there anything else to mention about this season? Yeah, I'm sure that's nothing.
No, I'm not String Bonnie, he's already dead. Now, my name is Springtrap, and we will never be friends.
After someone off-screen makes Springtrap able to get up, he goes on a massive rampage on all of the animatronics before he goes down when it hits 6 AM, as he and all of the animatronics have a curse of shutting down when it hits that time. This causes the restaurant to shut down and move the animatronic to Fazbear's Fright, and I just like the implications that they saw the mess in the previous restaurant, then when they see an animatronic rabbit with a corpse inside of it, they just go,
Are you fucking serious?
That kinda makes me wonder how they reacted to the Night God from season 2 getting killed by Mango. Even in fanworks, Fazbear Entertainment is still a shitty company. Now that should be their tagline. While some of the animatronics are still intact, the others like Chica, Freddy, the puppet, Foxy, and Mangle have turned into phantoms, and it's Bonnie and the other gang's job to get a hold of the phantoms and get into their minds as a way to get all of them back to normal. They get that information from Golden Freddy, who shows up inside Bonnie's dream and commands him to save the others, resurrect Goldie's physical body back, and have him defeat Springtrap. Firstly, I just love how cartoonishly evil Springtrap is in this season. Sure, he's only like this because of the device that made him behave like an asshole, but whatever was in that device, it made Springtrap entertaining to watch. Like, what the fuck is this head movement?
Finally, I was able to make progress, and I will be free soon.
And when he tries to burn down the pizzeria, he casually does a dance around the destruction of the restaurant.
How beautiful. How wonderful. I could have done this much earlier.
Evil Springtrap is having the best time of his life. Also, I love that they try to incorporate the gameplay of FNAF 3 here, with the animatronics trying to distract him from getting close to the remaining ones trying to capture the phantoms. When they are about to free them all, Toy Chica gets to capture Phantom Freddy. This is the part where they would go to their past memories while trying to find the gift and the phantoms and make them come back to normal. However, when Toy Chica does it, she gets in a very eerie situation. Nobody shows up in this supposed memory. She randomly changes into a broken down Toy Chica that we saw back in season 2, all with a cape and a sword, referencing Springtrap encountering a version of Toy Chica with this fit. And when she grabs the monitor, this shows up. Look, it's not like this moment scared me to the core, but this is such an off-putting yet interesting visual that I expected it to come from the fake archive channel of all things. Turns out that Shadow Freddy was here the whole time, and proceeds to explain to her how she and the others are sentient to begin with. Basically, back at Fredbear's, there used to be an engineer who got fired after one of the animatronics broke down. He finds out that the night guard at the time was the one that broke the animatronics. Why did he do this? I guess because he thought it would be funny to ruin someone's job. That is what night shifts would do to a man. This causes the engineer to plan revenge on him. He keeps focusing on the plan to the point where he just becomes homeless after pushing his daughter away. Shame on you, Angie. Not even Saxton Hale would do this to her. He gets the bright idea to program Freddy to kill the night guard, but that causes it to kill him instead. The onus just hit the body away, but because of his insane level of hatred, his soul merges with an artifact that just so happens to give him unlimited power! He takes the shape of Nightmare, but fucks his power up and accidentally splits his soul to all of the remaining animatronics at the time, making them sentient. The puppet not only shared his soul to the classic animatronics, but also the toy animatronics, and that's how the series explains how they become sentient and have basic human emotions. It's definitely a lot better than what Zero was trying to do. Shadow Freddy also tells her to find the artifact that Nightmare is possessing right now, and then mentions that one of the animatronics is involved with Nightmare, and she has to figure out who was the traitor. It could be them, it could be her, or it could even be...
Why, hello there!
Honestly, Season 3 is much better than the previous two, with the story being engaging and some moments that got a laugh out of me.
Okay, I understand.
Unfortunately, there is one thing that I hate so much about this season, and it's the subplot about Bonnie and Toy Chica. It's not the ship itself that's the problem, it's the fact that what happens with them is what made me hate it so much. In the first episode, Toy Bonnie gets a comedic amount of bad luck, which he deserves to have. He asks Toy Chica for help, and after she helps him out, Toy Bonnie hugs her, and that causes Bonnie to see this and immediately think that Toy Chica is cheating on him.
I have something for you.
I saw you again with Toy Bonnie. I can't trust you. You are pathetic.
I never expected to talk about this on my channel, but I can't stress enough how much I fucking hate this trope. If your partner kisses someone else behind your back, get justifiably mad all you want. But if your partner just so happens to like someone with the opposite gender and then get mad at them for doing nothing wrong, then that just makes you a terrible partner.
Great nap. It really was.
It's a shitty trope to have, and Bonnie doing this shit makes no fucking sense. Bonnie in this show just comes off as a chill animatronic, so to see him behaving like a whiny child is so out of character. I don't care if he regretted behaving like this, it's still shitty.
Hey, Bonnie. Stop picking up my girlfriend.
Oh, fuck off.
That's enough of this. I can't stand both of you.
Why does he sound like the Go animation voice?
Now go to your room and sleep forever.
What?
Speaking of Toy Chica, she gets a different suit due to her old one getting damaged. However, she hates the new suit because it makes her look fat. You are a goddamn stick, what are you talking about? She even finds out about a box that contains her old parts, but Springtrap uses this as a trap and captures Toy Freddy. He forces which one Toy Chica should get, the box or Toy Freddy. She does end up picking Toy Freddy, but at the same time she was debating on which one she wanna get. For a second she was considering the thought of taking her old parts over her friend. Why do you have a problem with fat people?
Toy Chica is fucking fat!
Okay, back to the main story. The group manages to bring Golden Freddy back to life, although Goldie never told Bonnie about how he can resurrect him, confuses Bonnie much more. Goldie sends all of them back to the original location, but doesn't know that the restaurant was randomly burnt down, and that causes the group to not know what to do. After Springtrap knocks Goldie down and the device no longer is attached to his head, he uses Goldie's power to teleport away from the explosion. After the group goes down after 6 AM, except for Toy Chica for some reason, one of the owners brings them to a completely different restaurant for them to live on. So like what? The owner just has 2 restaurants being open this whole time? That's the kind of shit you expect Mr. Krabs to do. Wait a second. Goldie and Springtrap just so happen to teleport there, and he apologizes to them for what he did back at Fazbear's Fright. They forgive him, Goldie and Springtrap are reunited again, and everyone is happy right now.
I would be honored if I could join. Welcome to the family.
And that shit wouldn't last for even a single episode.
What the fuck?
Of course, it wouldn't end like that. There is a lot of stuff that hasn't been resolved yet. Who is Shadow Freddy? What's the deal with the different versions of Toy Chica that we keep seeing in season 2 and 3? And most importantly, who is the traitor? Well, we will find about this after today's sponsor, Acid. I'm just screwing with you. Let's get to the most infamous thing about this show. So, we finally got to talk about season 4. I have shown this playlist before, and you might be thinking, how the hell would you be able to cover the season with this amount of episodes? And to tell you the truth, this isn't accurate. Let me explain. 37 splits an episodes into 3 or 4 parts, and later on mashing them together into one single video. Not only does the playlist have the episodes that were split into parts, but it also includes the completed episodes, the previews for upcoming episodes, and the outdated trailer for season 4. I made a playlist that only has the ones with full episode written on them, which you can check out in the description down below. And the actual count for the episodes so far at the time I'm writing the script is 35 episodes. It's still the longest season of the entire show. This could also be said for the runtime of the entire season so far. Here's season 1, season 2, season 3, and... oh my god. And when you combine all of the season's runtime, the 4th season takes like what, 60%?
What?
There's a lot to unravel about this season, so stick with me as I talk about the story. Shadow Freddy is Nightmare. What? No! I mean, come on now. How the hell did he know that much about Nightmare's past? He had the whole thing planned. He was the one who made Springtrap move up again, disguising himself as Golden Freddy in Bonnie's dream, and manipulating Freddy and Toy Chica into helping him out. He also was the one who gave them the curse of shutting down at 6 AM. Toy Chica got away with it earlier due to switching to her new costume, as the curse was at her old ones. The artifact that Toy Chica was trying to look for this whole time was inside the cupcake, making her fail at her mission as Nightmare gets a hold of it. And to top it all off, the traitor turned out to be Mangle. I remember as a kid thinking this twist was very random, but it makes sense because Nightmare was the only one who commanded Mangle to kill the Night Guard from season 2. She only joins his side because of how she was treated by kids as they removed her body parts around. Hell, she knew about the Night Guard from season 1 having a shotgun, so she went there wanting him to shoot her as she can be fixed in the back room and able to enter the basement to put the chips inside of the corpse of the Night Guard inside of Springtrap. She even burned down the original location just so they could be transported to a different restaurant that Nightmare wanted to be in. And to all of that I have to say, I had to sit through the whole flashback of her memories in the new Night Guard episode for nothing? That shit took half the third part of that episode's runtime. Springtrap, rip her ear off. Nightmare gets all of the powers from the animatronics, which does explain why he prevented Springtrap from killing Toy Chica, as he secretly wanted all of the animatronics to be alive so he could take their powers away, and then starts to summon his minions, which consist of the Nightmare animatronics from FNAF 4. It's cool to see these guys behaving like actual monsters. It kinda reminds me of the Twisted animatronics from the Twisted ones. And after all of that, everything just goes into absolute chaos. You wanna know how I can summarize Nightmare as a villain? Well, here's how he behaves throughout the whole season.
I have to break your neck. It's just the way it is. I'm just a messenger.
So, get this. After he gets all of the powers, he just massacres a lot of the animatronics. And after he finishes with the remaining ones, the people outside get suspicious about the restaurant that Nightmare took over, and a bunch of SWAT team roam around the pizzeria and unable to kill the Nightmares because they are immortal. Nightmare gets the bright idea of taking the animatronics that he held as hostages, making them unable to move and framing them for killing the SWAT team. Then he teleports to a supposed factory and enslaves the employees to make an army of Jacko Bunny. And then later on, they get to make it big into skeletons named the Keepers, who are more powerful than the Jacko Bunny armies. And then also a motherfucking kaiju Nightmare Mangle. As you, the viewer, try to process what the fuck did I just say, the season skips to 100 years later, and Nightmare manages to kill every single human on Earth, including the employees, as all of them got replaced by a group of nightmare animatronics. But he's not even done yet. He has another plan and it's related to hacking the artifact because Nightmare wants to destroy alternate realities, including every version of himself, because he wants to be the only one with the artifact. I have never seen anyone hate themselves this much since I looked in the mirror. Nightmare is a textbook's definition of a hater. He calls any of his victims a coward and weak. And when his minions make a slight mistake, he straight up kills them with a sword. He is so much of an asshole that even a few of his groups, such as Blushtrap, are sick of Nightmare's bullshit. At times, he has the same attitude as Evil Springtrap, and it's just so entertaining.
This is too easy. You look much better right away. You are useless. And you will always be. You will never mean anything. Remember that.
Just to remind you, all of this killing, all of this level of hatred, all of this goddamn massacre, all started because a night guard did a little trolling. It's just a prank, bruh. Accidentally causes the end of the world. Is this why people hated the prank trend back in 2016? Was FouseyTube this close to getting us to this state? And that leaves us with a question, what now? He has accomplished his plan, and what else is left for the story? Well, Nightmare has a bit of a problem. And it's that Goldie made a time machine device back then, but never was able to get it to work until now, and gave it to Toichika so she could defeat Nightmare once and for all. She does get away from Nightmare, although he messed her up completely. She travels 100 years later, where the restaurant that she has escaped from has been in ruin. However, it turns out that Springtrap, or Scraptrap, has survived the attack from Nightmare Mangle due to the corpse inside of him saving his life. And as you expect, he says the thing.
I always come back.
It turns out that the time machine device has Goldie and the puppet's consciousness stored there in case they die, and it's Toichika and Springtrap's job to bring an empty body for Goldie while going back in time to take the souls of the dead animatronics to form a sword that can kill Nightmare. With that description, you might have realized that up until season 2, this whole thing has been planned for a while. Future Toichika showing up in the previous seasons, a Nightmare hinting about a plan, has been going on for a while. And yes, this season does show her going through the past seasons. Almost one-to-one shots, and whenever that happens, I just go... There's also stuff like this moment from season 3. Why didn't Phantom Freddy go away when Toichika was approaching? Well, that's because future Toichika accidentally got him into a different time, and when she goes back to the correct time that he came from, she uses a device to erase his memory of encountering future Toichika to not fuck up her plan. However, she never used this on Classic Freddy because, at the time, he thought future Toichika was just a hallucination, as that is what he was suffering through back in season 1 and 3. Anyway, this device ends up knocking Phantom Freddy down a bit, and that's what causes the event of past Toichika to get a hold of him. This is such an insane continuity, and the fact that he planned some of the story beats for the upcoming seasons at such a young age is an insane amount of effort. This has more planning than the actual games, and it makes me question what stuff he had to change for season 3 and 4. Like, was Nightmare meant to be Shadow Freddy's actual final form? Or it would have been something different that we don't know about. There were things in the outdated trailer for season 4, where apparently future Scraptrap was just meant to look like the Springtrap model, which makes sense cause FNAF 6 didn't come out at the time the trailer was released. And also, get this, there was a scene of Nightmare taking over the fucking White House? This never happens in the actual season, I guess it was taken over by President Springtrap, but we know for the fact that he would do this for the hell of it. I just admire this. And it's crazy that he did this for a FNAF show of all things. It means that this has an actual conclusion. It's just that we have to wait for a while to get there. Back to the story, I want to talk about our main characters. We have Scraptrap in here, and I'm not kidding when I say that he might be my favorite character in the entire show. It's not a surprise when I say that I hate the Scraptrap model. This design looks goofy and is a massive downgrade from Springtrap. Sure, he looks fine in the darkness, but when we see him up close, yeah, it looks stupid. And it's funny that I'm saying this, because I think this model works greatly with this version of Scraptrap. Not only did he have the audacity to call anyone ugly,
Well, she's uglier than me.
But when the spirit of Spring Bonnie from season 2 sees what he would look like in the future, he just has a mental breakdown.
I wanna die. I'm not going to end up like that freak.
Hi, how are you?
I'm the perfect guy. Just kill me now. Just spare my suffering.
Going as far as to possess the Night Guard. He is that traumatized. There's a scene where Scraptrap thinks that Goldie is with him and it's just a random prop. It's more hilarious with the Scraptrap model cause it makes him look more of a crazy person than he already is. However, even with that, he is still a good person and you do feel bad for what has happened to him after the events of Nightmare taking over. He has been alive for over 100 years and he had to live in a dystopian world run by an absolute maniac. It's even more sad when he lives alone without any of his friends. A contrast to the ending of season 3, where the gang forgives him and invites him to the restaurant to hang out. And to put more salt into an injury, he used to have someone with him in the abandoned restaurant, but was taken away by the nightmares. And that character was Mike. Yes, that Mike. With the Doco-ass model, of course. This shot should be studied in animation class. The cape that Tochika has apparently been owned by Mike. But I don't know, I don't see this guy wearing a cape that was made for a drunken Scottish man. What happened to him was that he ran out of food and both of them hatched a plan to get inside of the factory that the Nightmares own just so they can get food for Mike. They were able to kill the Jacko Bunny's army because over the decades, the artifact couldn't have all of them be immortal due to Nightmare using too much of it. So they decided to cut costs on the energy. But it turns out that it was a trap this whole time by Nightmare Bunny. This unfortunately caused Springtrap to have his hand glued on the gun that's been pointed at Mike. Nightmare Bunny tells him that he either kills him easily or they take his soul to give to the army of the animatronics. This whole thing is set up like it's a saw trap, and I won't be surprised that Nightmare Bunny was an apprentice for Jigsaw, cause why not at this point? This idiot is an apprentice somehow. Springtrap ends up killing Mike out of mercy, and it affects him heavily. Although if it was Game Springtrap, he would have shot him immediately. Also, I wanna highlight this moment from him that got me off guard.
Nightmares never turn it off.
It's so funny when an animatronic gets shot with a clock. Even FNAF did this shit too. Toychica in this season is my favorite fan interpretation of the character. It's not a high bar because 95% of the fan interpretations are just... I find it funny, don't get me wrong, but holy shit, please give her an actual character, you fucking gooners. If the rumor of Toychica being sexualized or have a dirty joke in FNAF Movie 2 is true, I will wear a springlock suit. She has an actual arc around her. And you do want her to succeed in killing Nightmare once and for all. However, she goes through a lot of trauma and anger while doing this plan. She has so much of it that it ends up creating... whatever the fuck that is.
It feels like somebody wants to sell me something!
I told you he was on to us!
They say that they only exist because of the stress and anger that she has been having, and even threatened to take over Toychica's body. This almost happens in the scene of Toychica fighting Mangle. She gets up from the fight only to behave completely different, acting like a killer robot with no soul. It does not mess around, and there are scenes where they just hang around in the background. It's a nice detail. I might have a theory on this, where this seems to parallel Toychica and Nightmare's vengeance. Nightmare got so hung up on revenge that he was able to come back to life with the artifact, and the weird Toychica spirit only existed because of Toychica's hatred for Nightmare and Mangle. I could be wrong, but it's an interesting perspective to look at. On the note of the artifact, it turns out that Bonnie is alive this whole time, but without any eyes. From what we know so far, the artifact brought him back and has been saving Toychica and even Scraptrap just so they can continue their plan to kill Nightmare. He says he's following some rules that prevent him from doing other stuff, or else he would cease to exist. It's an interesting subplot and I'm wondering how it would resolve at the end. It also makes Bonnie a lot more better than how he was in season 3. And that is the general story of season 4 so far, and I haven't mentioned everything about the other stuff. The funtime animatronics showing up, the artifact not only being sentient, but also shares both sides of the conflict. Foxy being alive somehow, because of the puppet's secret experiments, one of the keybirds that wasn't made to fight, getting harassed by the nightmares. Like, why are you treating him like that? And then also Plushtrap asks Bonnie for help to kill Nightmare, and a hint of foreshadowing of what's going to happen to Toychica. It's a lot to uncover. That 6-hour runtime is not a joke. This season has been going on since 2017, and it's not showing a sign of stopping. Saying all that, I do consider this to be the best season of the entire show, because of the amount of effort this has been going into, and it's easily his most ambitious work so far. Look at the animation for example. Season 1 has very rough animations as you expect, Seasons 2 and 3 are definitely an improvement, but Season 4 is the best one with its animation. Not only does it look like they made the models have RTX on, but it's also in 60 FPS, and it's an insane miracle that this software even manages to render it at 60 FPS. The lighting looks beautiful, and it somehow makes the Splinks models look good. One issue I have about this season is that the text-to-speech voices have taken a toll on me. It's the same one that Zero used and 37 started using it in season 3. But I feel like it's an issue for this season, because when Toychica got upset that she lost the time machine device, which results in Nightmare getting the device and destroy it, I don't get much emotions out of her sadness for what happened, because the text-to-speech voices are soulless.
No, 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 no. Where is my device? It's over. We have lost.
Mike doesn't even speak here because the nightmares removed his tone away. But I feel like he did this to not give Mike a voice, and that's just funny to think about. There is a moment where he uses Nightmare Baby's voice from UCN, and it's jarring to hear the text-to-speech voice and the real voice actor in the same room.
It's time to return to Scrap Trap.
You knew I'd get you eventually. There just isn't room in here for both of us.
I do give it a pass on the weird Toychica spirit, because the voice that he used is quite fitting and also makes her even more terrifying.
I have already become strong enough to be able to talk to you. And soon, I will become so strong that I will be the one to take control of your body and consume your soul.
Also, remember when I said that some animators didn't know how to deal with Withered Chica's arms? Well, I can say that some animators don't know what to do with the puppet's mouth. I don't like it when it moves, it's gross to look at. The pacing is generally fine, and the moment where it felt kinda dragging was when Toychica and Scrap Trap traveled to the events of season 2, but besides that, it's fine. And that concludes our discussion of the stories. Forget what I said about Zero's show. This is the weirdest FNAF fan series. This has been quite an experience to sit through, and I'm just proud of 37 to still be working on this show. It's fascinating that he's this dedicated to it, and even when the recent episodes don't have as many views as they did back then, there are still fans for it that's still supporting this show to this very day. A ton of comments on the recent episodes talk about how much they had nostalgia for 37 and praise him for his improvement over the years, and it's sweet honestly. I am intrigued by what the future has for this show, and I hope it sticks the landing at the end. There is a lot of stuff happening with this story right now, but I could predict that it would end in like 2027 maybe? We will have to see. Hey, Future Joey here. Recently 37 made a comment on the show after it turned 10 years, and he seems to hint that the finale is coming a bit closer than expected. This is just pure speculations from mine, and I might make a follow-up video when the show ends. Keyword might. I also should mention that he changed the show's name from The Stories to Shadows of a Dark Destiny. I needed to bring this up just so people don't correct me for getting the show's name wrong. He changed it while I was reaching the end of editing the season 4 section. So yeah, that's all I wanted to clarify about the current news of this show. 37 is an SFM animator that a ton of people should take notes of his work. It may be weird as hell, but the amount of ambition for it is something that we all should take a look at. With that being said, let's move on to the next one. Throughout the whole video, I kept mentioning some of the SFM community's hatred towards FNAF animators. And I have to elaborate that FNAF wasn't the only one who got this treatment. When they lose their hate from FNAF animators, they move on to do the same thing with Overwatch and Fortnite animators. Overwatch especially because back in 2016, there was a community war between this game and TF2, due to both of them having similarities with each other. And the one game that won from all of that was honestly TF2, and that is only because Blizzard took down the first game for a shitty sequel. Anyway, a lot of stuff has changed since 2015, and as far as I'm aware, it's been a lot calmer than before. FNAF is at an all-time high, while TF2 is I would say it is in a very strange position right now. I don't even think Valve knows what they are doing to begin with. SFM animations continue to evolve, and we have since seen some ambitious works from any community. No, I will not mention that fucking brain rot. FNAF animators are no exception to this. We don't see that many shows that are on par with 0 and 37's work, but there are more fan animations for music videos, and my god, the amount of effort that I have seen is outstanding. Why are there so many SFM animators going so hard with the animation for a music video about the Funny Bear game? I am praying for your computer to survive. To finish off this video, I will talk about shows that are currently popular in the FNAF community. While it wouldn't be as long as the discussion I did with 0 and 37, it is important for me to highlight modern FNAF SFM works. Starting with... Let's go back to 2018. A sentence that I never expected to say. If you were a FNAF fan at the time, you knew about the absolute hype that was the UCN era. Dawko and Scott Coffin beefing with each other about whether or not Dawko will beat 50-20 mode, which is the hardest difficulty in the entire franchise, and we know how that ended. It's an infamous moment in the FNAF community, and a few animators made some animations about the whole ordeal. One of them that I came across as a kid was Ultimate Custom Night Special. This was mine and other people's introduction to the Special Strike series. Created by TheHottest dog back in 2017, this show got a lot of awareness during the UCN era. The whole premise of this show is that the animatronics gather around and celebrate holidays. It can be for Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, April Fools, Easter, Summer, Mother's and Father's Day, and even sequels to said holidays. With that description in mind, you might think that this is just a wholesome slice of life with the animatronics celebrating the holidays with each other. What do you think?
Don't get distracted. This needs to be a lesson in forgiving and forgetting.
This is an entire shitpost of all of the animatronics going a wee bit completely insane. And honestly, it's very funny to me. Not all of it lands, to be honest. If you hate Grande's humor, you might not like the jokes from the early specials.
I wanna be P. Diddy.
However, for me, what makes this show so funny to me has to be the characters. They feel like they took some acid trips. You have Blushtrap behaving exactly like Filthy Frank, voice and all. You have the Puppet, who just feels like he comes from the Day Shift at Freddy's games. He even has his own theme, and it's both stupid and unnecessarily catchy.
You make me step, make me hot, make me hot, slap my ass, make me move, make me you handsome devil.
And you have Helpy being a priest, because I guess he seeked God after the ending of Pizza Sim. This is supposed to be a reference to Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and Helpy really wants you to know that he's a priest.
The Bible.
This is the Bible.
You question the words of the mighty!
Foxy is also a character in this show, and his whole thing is that he... Are you kidding me right now? He goons! We just dealt with that before, and even non-SFM shows have that with Foxy. It's like, why is this even a thing? There are a lot of characters like this, and the only normal characters, if you want to say, would have to be Freddy and Bonnie. They still get their moments though. Another thing I like liked about this humor would have to be the constant times the show makes fun of old FNAF SFM. Some of them do feel like it's Dark Hitting Statue 37. It makes fun of FNAF ship's culture.
Why do we even kill the guards anyway?
Because you start watching FNAF ships and likes it.
Let's kill him.
The text-to-speech voices.
The shadows would.
Wait, when did you get an actual voice?
Since we realized the text-to-speech voices were way too repetitive.
And it's also self-aware with some of the nonsense shit going on with the show.
You know, Freddy, today is Mother's Day.
Mommy, we are robots.
Now, is this what the whole show is like? Just the animatronics screwing around during the holidays? Well, from what I have learned from MatPat is that in every media, there's at least gonna be some lore in it. And it does. With every holiday special, excluding the Thanksgiving one, they have alternative endings being released at the same time, where a bunch of Shadow Freddy clones, capturing half of the animatronics for the main villain of the series, the Chief. It eventually leads to the main animatronics finding out about them, with the ones that were captured by them escaping and planning an end to the Chief's plan, to which the entire build-up goes to the special strike duology. Freddy and the gang get a hold of one of the teleportation guns that the Shadow Freddy clones own, and it's able to travel to other universes. This is where the story takes a massive shifting point, because these duologies are a weird mix of FNAF, Infinity War, and sprinkle in some multiverse stuff in there. Their words, not mine.
So wait, they're not coming. I was so ready to spread some cheese.
Same, but has anyone else had an Infinity War vibe ever since this started?
Wait, so this is an Infinity War endgame?
Do you really think people like us would be an endgame?
Good point.
Rebellion does the whole multiverse stuff more, and both of them do it in an honestly entertaining way. Like, you can tell they had fun coming up with the most ridiculous scenarios, as not only do they go through FNAF universes, but also just whatever the hell they want to. These include other universes made by FNAF SFM animators, like Derby Horse 4, who just so happens to voice a villain in the duology called RXQ, and Walston SFM, a channel where it has a similar humor to the show, but amped up to 11. You think fan footage movies have too many shaky cams? Well, get a load of this.
I need to get out this bitch. Deadass.
Could you tell us where we are?
There's also Five Nights at Fuckboys, Day Shift at Freddy's, FNAF World, Bendy, Cuphead, Baldy, Doggo with Scott Coffin balding a cross on him, like a real-life Christian would do.
I absolve you of your sins. You have been forgiven.
Team Fortress 2, with even referencing Team Fabulous 2 in Rebellion. Any plushie channels that aren't made by Super Mario Logan.
Oh yeah, garbage!
Paddington, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, The Walton Files, which the original creator had involvement to it. How nice to see an animatronic that comes from a series that has fucked up moments like these. Showing up in the same street as Scraptrap flying over Jimmy Neutron's head. Dee Dee from UCN shows up to casually summon Godzilla on the battlefield. Her ability to summon him kinda gives it some implications. There are also the characters from Five Nights at Candy's. They are a lot more important here due to them being side characters, and I honestly love their inclusion for the show. Cat and Rat behaving like bickering brothers.
We got you cornered. Now get down on the ground.
Hey, Candy said I was supposed to say that.
I'm pretty sure he said I should say it.
No, he specifically told me to do it.
Well, I already said it, so ha!
Well, you know what?
Chester is just Donkey Kong but even more aggressive, and the penguin animatronic only has the voice of Bingo. I just wanted to give the creator a golden medal for that one. Stuff like this is why the duology and even the show itself is so entertaining to watch. I would legit take a nonsensical yet engaging multiverse story based on the Funny Bear game than whatever the Flash was trying to do with its multiverse stuff. Like, do you have any idea how fucked up this scene is? Another aspect I love about this show would have to be the original models that were made for the duology. Glitchtrap henchmen look like something that he would make in Hulk Wanted, RXU turning into this nightmare version of himself is fantastic, and there is a scene where Glitchtrap manages to change into a giant mantis. It surprised me a lot when I first watched Rebellion, and I really dig its design. I have to give a shout out to everyone who made these, cause it's impressive that they created original models for a show that has Journeyman Funtime Freddy. The one thing that I could complain about would have to be the villains. They're not bad, but aside from RXQ, they don't have that much development towards them. Sure, the Chief has an arc with how he became a villain, and his relationship with Springtrap and Freddy even, but after he dies, RXQ resurrects him as a mindless killing machine in Rebellion, and that's about it. Hell, even the parody version of the Chief gets more development than the actual Chief.
No, my one son, no!
Glitchtrap is in this show, and despite being the one that started the whole fiasco, he's more of a side villain and gets defeated easily. I do have to mention that he's being voiced by a reaction channel named Faber the Gamer.
Sorry. Not used to seeing disheveled machines in her state.
British? I know, it's a weird choice, but I do think he does a good job portraying the character. I would take that over Keemstar voicing the US president in a Half-Life fan game of all things.
My fellow Americans.
Oh, fucking righteous fucking
And there's a character named the Observer. Based on their name, they observe the entire show that they created, and he wants to reset this universe to go back to being a shitpost, as it became less of that the more it goes on. It seems to be a reference to the creator, hence why his design looks like the creator's avatar, but aside from a few build-ups in the previous scenes, they just show up in the final act of Rebellion, and they definitely feel like they had a way bigger of a role originally, and that seems to be the case. There was meant to be a third special strike, with Rebellion originally hinting at Glitchtrap's henchmen for the cancelled third special strike, and the Chief was meant to turn into a good guy instead of a mindless killing machine. Rebellion even has an unknown villain in the post-credits scene, and while they never reveal who this is, it seems to be a very important character for the third cancelled one. Saying that though, I understand why they never made it. I think both runtimes for the duology kinda explains for themselves. Special Strike's runtime is almost 50 minutes, which is impressive by SFM animation standards, but Rebellion's runtime is 2 hours and 30 minutes. I know you might be thinking that it's not that wild because of the runtime of the story season 4, but that's an entire season that has been ongoing for 8 years. Rebellion came out 2 years after the first special strike, and the idea of an SFM animation having a movie runtime is quite unheard of, for the most part at least. At the end of the day, I think you should watch the show. It might not be for everyone, especially with the early specials, but it's so fun to watch and the humor speaks for itself.
Alright, come on, I wanna play. Let's see the old stuff here, pal. Come on now, chuckle, baby.
Although, if you are unable to find the special strike on his channel, TheHottest unlisted it because according to an interview,
I just cause I don't think it reflects what the content I make anymore. Looking back, I'm not too proud of it. You know, it was definitely like a first attempt at making something big and grand and awesome. Oh, everyone's gonna love this video, the special strike. But like looking back, I'm not proud of it anymore.
You can still find re-uploads of it though. The Mother's Day one is also enlisted. And what's funny about this special is that it created this infamous image of Freddy.
I hurt myself today.
So yeah, we have finally gotten to a FNAF fan show that has an actual conclusion. That is what I would say if not for the fact that he uploaded a new Christmas special while I was done editing this section. Here is my honest reaction to TheHottest doing that to me. This is your cousin. Your kind tastes like shit. It's not just a simple special, by the way. The ending shows the Chief coming back after he was defeated in Rebellion. Currently, we don't know where this leads, but if it happens to be leading to a new special strike, then I can hope the team behind these specials for the best. I guess I was right because he made this while I was editing the last section of the video. What the fuck is going on? Now, even with that, TheHottest has been working on other stuff like making music videos, upcoming FNAF fan games, and a shit ton of security breach animations.
6. Now!
I enjoyed rewatching this show for this video compared to 0 and 37. I was so obsessed with it that when Rebellion came out, not only did I catch up with the other specials, but I watched Rebellion on the same day. Keep in mind it takes like 4 hours to watch all of it, and I ended up finishing it at 6 AM. Well, yes, I am sleep deprived. Can you tell that with my fucking eyes? Don't take my word for it. A lot of the FNAF community adored this show as much as I am, and it was fun to speculate about it during the gap between Special Strike and Rebellion. So to summarize my thoughts, this show is really funny to me, and I can't wait for what other stuff he makes in the future. And hopefully we won't get more of this.
Pile on!
Oh no, oh no, oh
Billy!
no!
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from...
Finally, thank God, I have saved the best one for last, the Interviewed series. It was created by Australian animators named J Gems, and their series is beloved by a lot of FNAF fans, including myself. I am being serious when I state that the Interviewed series is quite good. In fact, this is the best one on here. Out of all of the shows that I have covered in this video, this one tries to be faithful to the game's lore. Well, kinda. Not only the Nightmare animatronics are real, but Nightmare Rion, who's like the channel's mascot, is a YouTube vlogger. But then again, Toy Freddy is a gamer in UCN, so I think this is not too out of place. It started on June 15th, 2019. The premise is that the animatronics want to fight Springtrap, but they end up getting captured in the facility called Gems. They captured them because they wanted to know how to accomplish immortality, and they try to do it by interviewing the animatronics, including Afton. Yeah, that's what I want to accomplish in life, becoming a furry for eternity. Wait, I think I get it. Hold on a second. This guy is white, bald, and owns the big facility? Sounds familiar. If I had to summarize what this series is like, it's a mix of the selfish minigames from Pizza Sim and SCP Foundation. Their interview segments are fine, but they did abandon them later on in the series, aside from this Ennard one, which is funny to me because you have a video titled An Interview with Foxy, and the opening shows him getting killed. I mentioned this briefly when I was talking about Zero, but The Interviewed is the only SFM series here, with a few exceptions in the Special Strike here and there, that uses actual voice actors. So you can throw that text-to-speech tool into the recycle bin. Now, I'm not usually a huge fan of some of the fan voices for the animatronics. It's only because UCN did an amazing job of giving almost every character a fitting voice, while some fan voices just don't fit at all. This is a true case with Tony's FNAF series and David Neer voices. Now, with all that being said, this one is a massive exception. J Gems nailed it out of the park with the voice acting for the animatronics. The highlights for me are Squidly's voice as Lefty being kinda accurate to how they sound in the games.
Come spend eternity inside with me. You've caused all this pain and death for us, so we thought we'd return the favor.
T-Rex's voice as Golden Freddy is very eerie and also sounds like there is more than one soul inside of them, which aligns with the current theory of Golden Freddy being possessed by 2 souls in the games. Or maybe not, I guess? Whatever.
Interesting. I was under the impression you had lost anything remotely resembling empathy or remorse. But for a moment, I saw sorrow. Fleeting, but noticeable.
Speaking of which, Nominal's voice as Ennard is very funny, and I like how you can hear the Funtime animatronics try to talk shit about each other.
What do I do that's so annoying to you?
We don't need to know about how great you are at acting.
We already know! We're programmed with it, dang it! I think you're just jealous.
Though if I had to complain, in the interview with Bonnie, I couldn't be able to understand what the hell he was trying to say. Not because of his Aussie accent, but because there are no subtitles and the music is too loud for me. Oh god, it's giving me more flashback.
Now Mrs. Carter, for the past few days I've been working at Freddy
fast. What?
But hey, they later added subtitles to future videos, so that's cool. And more on the story, my favorite part about it is with Springtrap and Cassidy's storyline. The story follows two villains, one being the owner of the facility called Major, and yet again, Springtrap. I'm mostly gonna focus on this version of Springtrap because this interpretation of the character is top tier for me. He is up there with Movie Afton as the perfect way to depict the character, and that is a high compliment. There are two misconceptions about Afton as a character. One is that fans think that he was just an innocent father who lost his son in an accident that was caused by his older son. It's like they think Afton cared about his children's safety, when in reality this guy is incompetent as a father. Before the bite incident, the crying child kept boiling his eyes out throughout the minigame of FNAF 4. And what did Afton do about it, especially when his son is tormenting him? Absolutely nothing. And don't even get me started with Elizabeth. On the other hand, you have a worse headcanon towards the character, that being Afton falling a doctor disrespect. Now, why do people want it to be like that? Well, according to some arguments that I have heard, it is to make FNAF realistic. Realistic. When in reality, it's just, I don't like the current direction of the franchise, so I am begging on my knees for them to make a shitty edgy game and treat a serious subject with no care or thought whatsoever. Just like the original games. Apparently. Can you tell I have been wanting to talk about this bullshit? The point I'm trying to make is that what I view Afton for me is what he actually is in the games. A child murderer. He's always been this shitty guy before and after he committed the murders. And stuff like the movie hammers this point to your skull by him stabbing his own daughter as she was trying to stop him from killing a child. J-Gems understood this, and it's what makes their version of Afton so good. Jordan Love's performance gives the character much depth with his voice and shows how much of an asshole he is.
I want you to experience a fraction of the pain I've been through. You don't know suffering.
You don't think I know suffering? I was locked in the same room for 30 goddamn years!
This version of Afton makes you hate him even more than the game version. He has no regrets for what he has done for the kids, and only treats them like they're subjects for his creation. And what better way to showcase this behavior with the Remnant trials? We see past Afton experimenting with the funtime animatronics by using something called Remnant. Remnant, which is introduced in the games and this video, is something that exists in every human soul, and it's what makes the animatronics come to life. This is how I view it, by the way. If any angry FNAF fan calls me out for misinterpreting the Remnant, you are welcome to keep it to yourself. Because I don't care. He only found out about this due to an incident with the funtime animatronics accidentally killing his daughter Elizabeth. He uses different amounts on the animatronics as he tries to see the results, which ends up not working out much. I like this moment where Funtime Foxy calls out Afton's bullshit lie being said to them.
A murderer? I didn't kill you if that's what you're implying. Your body was donated for science.
That's funny. Donations usually require consent. And for the donor to be dead.
And I like how this moment gets referenced in the post-credit scene.
You always act as if we should praise you for everything you've done to us. That's not right.
And then we have Cassidy. After the animatronics escape and capture Afton, they are split on what they want to do with him. You have Lefty and her gang wanting to kill Afton so they can be free from him. But Cassidy and their gang don't want him to die, as that's what he wants them to do with him, as Cassidy prefers to torture him for his sins. Honestly, they're my favorite interpretation of Golden Freddy for me. The game version is fine, and I'm interested in what they will do with the movie version, but I believe that J-Gem's Golden Freddy is the best one. You generally do relate to their actions towards Afton, as how he took so many innocent kids from their lives, as they want him to suffer through what he did to them for decades. As she torments him with the best sins he has done for his life, they mention his family tragedy and it takes an effect on him. My favorite scene from this show is this moment right here, where they argue about what they want to do with him.
Is all this really worth it? I understand your anger, but...
If you did, you wouldn't be killing him so soon.
an amazing way to showcase how much of an evil monster Afton is as a character, and I feel like this is the series at its strongest. It takes some of the story beats from the games and expands on it, and it's done wonderfully. See? This is how you can depict Afton without making him a creep or trying to make him too sympathetic. Another favorite scene for me is where Nightmare Bonnie and Chica have a conversation with each other, talking about how old they should be by now, and I find the conversation to be natural and feels like they have been friends for decades.
How old are we? Like, do we just stop where we died or do we keep counting?
I don't know, Chica.
Jeez, wait, that would make me like 30 or something.
Well, that would make me around 40 then, wouldn't it?
You old man. You're gonna die tomorrow, mate.
If I had to complain about the story, it's that they make Ballora like Afton's wife. This was a popular theory back in the day and I never liked it, to be honest. A ton of people genuinely think that Afton's wife is an important character, when in reality she's irrelevant to the lore at all. She's not mentioned ever in the games and in the books, and I highly doubt the movies will mention her. As for the animation, it's quite nice. My favorite showcase of it has to be an interview with Cassidy. The shots and the lighting looked so good that I forgot I was watching a fan series. Until Nightmare Bonnie grabbed a gun. Overall, the Interfate series is among the best FNAF fan series for me. Yes, it's up there with Springtrap and Mangle. It deserves the hype and I cannot wait for what they are going to do with the story. I feel like every FNAF fan needs to check it out and give them some support. Okay, I want to talk about this. They made a FNAF rap music video with a real car in the background.
Eye to eye, face to face, put me in a place to face my wasted grace.
Tyler, the creator, has nothing on this. Even with all of the shows that I have covered here, I barely scratched the surface because, as I stated at the beginning of the video, there is a lot of SFM shows out there and I couldn't cover all of them here. Trust me, I too would love to cover Andrew John 100's show that has Springtrap bodying all of the animatronics in a genuinely great fight scene. And don't even get me started on a FNAF fan film that has Fazbear Pizzeria taking place in Arkham of all things. I guess that's where the theory came from. But judging by how much is left in my laptop's hard drive, yeah, I think it's good to call it off here. It's clear that all of the shows that I have covered here just so happens to be the ones that I grew up with on YouTube. There's just something about them that I have huge respect for, and the hate that Zashu37 and even Zero got back then was unwarranted. I need to clarify that not every SFM fan was this toxic, and there have been some pretty shitty FNAF SFM animations during the popularity of the games.
Holy godfinger.
No joke, I have seen a lot of SFM animations that use NSFW models on YouTube. I saw that shit when I was a kid. How the hell were they allowed on the site? However, when it comes to 37 and Zero, they were just teenagers who were not only passionate about FNAF, but also about animation itself. Obviously, it's okay if you don't like these types of SFM animations, but it's not okay to harass anyone who makes a harmless FNAF SFM show, and I'm glad this has been toned down as of late, as anyone can make SFM animations alongside TF2 animators. That is just something I find fascinating about this software as a whole. Source Filmmaker, despite its many flaws, has helped a ton of young animators practice animation as beginners, even if they decide to switch to a better animation software later on. This doesn't only apply to FNAF animators. Any fandom could be creative with this software, and it is something to commit to Valve for making SFM public for their audiences, no matter how you feel about the company as of late. If you want to make something that you are passionate about, I suggest that you do it. As long as you listen to constructive criticism and try to improve your work, you will end up with something that means a lot to you. And I sure have gone through that for nearly 7 years on YouTube. If these guys can bring their work to life, it's not too late for yours to become a reality. However, please don't use AI generated stuff, cause that just makes you look like an idiot. Just pick up a damn pencil. My twin sister can't do that, what's your excuse? Now, with all that being said, this video will be the last time I will talk about FNAF fanworks. It's not going to be the last FNAF video on my channel, that's for sure, and I have said before that I might cover Sam and Zashu37's show once they reach to their conclusion. But I'm feeling comfortable ending this whole topic that I started back when I talked about Sam with this video. I may have never covered every fan work, but I have covered the most popular ones in the FNAF community. This has been in the works for a whole year, and I'm fine going back to making videos that are under 20 to 30 minutes long. Plus, rendering a big video on Vegas Pro is a nightmare. It keeps having some bullshit issues, just like Source Filmmaker, and it made making this video a bit stressful because of that. Fuck you, Sony.
Ridge Racer!
To be honest, it's surprising enough that I even managed to make these videos, cause I never expected to talk about something that might not matter to some people. Yet, here we are. I'm glad these videos have skyrocketed in views on my channel. It's kinda heartwarming seeing people adore the videos about this type of subject, and I'm glad at the very least made a ton of people happy. This video will be the perfect way to end our discussion of FNAF fan works on YouTube, and I cannot wait for the future of FNAF fan content. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I will take a long nap now. I will see you next time.
United rhythm in my home, and every vision of my soul. Just to think we don't carry on that much philosophy still. And you know we're the end of all you love a modern man. Misery loves, misery loves, misery loves you. Misery loves, misery loves, misery